After destroying our marriage with her affair and giving birth to another man's baby, my wife is begging for a second chance. It all started crumbling when I found out Julie, my wife of 10 years, had been living a double life. I'm talking a year-long affair, multiple men, secret meetups, and the kicker. She had a child with one of them, a child she tried to pass off as mine. I remember the moment I found out like it was yesterday. My world stopped. My heart felt like it had been ripped out and stomped on. I trusted her, loved her with everything I had, and she'd been lying to my face for over a year. When we ended up in court, I was done. I wanted out. No more lies, no more pretending. My lawyer laid it out plain and simple. Your Honor, a year-long affair with multiple men resulting in a child that DNA tests prove isn't my client's isn't just an issue. This marriage is over. I thought it was a slam dunk. I mean, how could anyone argue with that? But Julie's lawyer stood up, all calm and collected, and said, "My client doesn't want a divorce. She believes this marriage can be saved with counseling." Saved? I almost laughed out loud. Saved for what? So I could live with her betrayal every single day? The judge, though, had other ideas. He looked at me stern as hell and said, "A child needs a stable home." Stable? I couldn't hold it in. I stood up and shouted, "If you think I'm raising her lover's kid, you're out of your mind." My lawyer cringed, and the judge slammed his gavel so hard I thought the desk would crack. "One more word, Mr. Sarstaman, and you're in contempt," he roared. Then he ordered us to attend counseling, 2 sessions a week for a month. I was furious, but I had no choice. The gavel hit again, and that was that. Walking into that counselor's office for the first session felt like stepping into a lion's den. Julie was already there, sitting with this smug little smile like she'd won some kind of victory. The counselor, Dr. Sullivan, Gerald, he insisted, tried to be all warm and fuzzy. "May I call you Brian?" he asked, smiling like we were buddies. "No," I snapped. "It's Mr. Stemmen." Julie started to say something and I cut her off. "You don't get to speak to me." I was done playing nice. Gerald motioned to 2 chairs side by side in front of his desk. I grabbed mine and dragged it 6 feet away from Julie's. No way was I sitting close to her. Gerald sighed, like he knew this was going to be a long hour. I didn't care. I popped in my AirPods, cranked up some music, and started scrolling through my phone. I wasn't there to talk. I was there because I had to be. Julie stormed out after 15 minutes, glaring at me like I was the problem. I pulled out my AirPods and said, "Great session, Doc. See you Thursday." Gerald just shook his head and said he was canceling the rest of the sessions and sending a report to the judge. Even better, I thought, and walked out. Back in court, the judge was livid. "Give me one reason I shouldn't hold your client in contempt," he demanded, glaring at my lawyer. My guy was quick, though. "Your Honor, my client attended the session as ordered. The counselor canceled the rest." The judge wasn't having it. "He put on headphones and ignored everyone," he shot back. But my lawyer held firm, and the judge, still fuming, ordered 4 more weeks of counseling. This time, I had to engage. Great, the next session was like deja vu. Same office, same 2 chairs, same bare desk with Gerald's legal pad and a photo of a woman and a kid. I started to move my chair again, and Julie reached out to stop me. I flinched. "Any physical contact is an attack, and I'll respond accordingly," I said, my voice ice cold. Julie gasped, pulling back like I'd slapped her. I sat down, pulled out my phone, and announced I was recording the session. "My lawyer says some counselors have agendas," I said, staring at Gerald. "Since Julie's been seeing you for a while, I need to make sure this is fair." Gerald asked if I could skip the recording. "Then I'll request a new counselor," I shot back. Julie waved it off, all dramatic. "Whatever, can we just start?" Gerald started with the usual therapist spiel: forgiveness, rebuilding trust, focusing on the future. I barely listened. My mind was screaming with memories of Julie's lies, her betrayal, the way she'd humiliated me. When Gerald asked how I felt, I didn't hold back. "Betrayed," I said, my voice shaking. "Ridiculed, like a fool who was played while my wife lived a double life. And now we're sitting here pretending there's something to save? She destroyed everything." Julie leaned forward, putting on this fake sympathetic face like she cared. I ignored her and kept going. "There's no marriage left, Doc. She decided I wasn't enough. She chose to cheat, to lie, to have a kid with another man, and now she wants me to just, forgive her, live with that kid, and act like it's all fine?" The room went dead silent. Julie's eyes filled with tears, but I didn't care. Gerald tried to talk about forgiveness, about how true love could rebuild a relationship. I laughed, bitter and loud. True love, I gave her that. I was faithful, devoted, ignored every flaw because I loved her. But this is betrayal. It's an insult to what marriage is supposed to be. Julie started sobbing, saying, I made a mistake, Brian, a terrible mistake. But we have a history, a life worth fighting for. Her words made my blood boil. A mistake? I said, my voice low and cold. You lied to me for a year, Julie. Every time you met him, you chose to keep going. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. And now you want me to pretend it didn't happen. The love I had for you died the day I learned the truth. Gerald tried to calm things down, suggesting we focus on solutions and let go of resentment. Resentment? How do you let go of something that's burned into your soul? Julie's tears got louder, but they felt like theater to me. Crocodile tears, from someone who'd played me for a fool. The session ended with Gerald asking us to come back more willing to resolve things. Yeah, right. As we left, Julie called out to me in the hallway. Brian, please, I know you hate me, but I swear I can make this right. Just give me a chance. I looked at her, and for the first time, I didn't see the woman I'd loved. I saw a stranger, someone who only cared now because she'd lost everything. It's not hate, Julie, I said, my voice steady. I just don't care anymore. I walked away, feeling this weird mix of emptiness and freedom. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. That night, lying in my tiny rented apartment, I realized something. Julie wasn't going to let this go. She'd fight tooth and nail, not out of love, but to keep up the act of the remorseful wife. She wanted control, not me. And that lit a fire in me. I wasn't going to let her manipulate me anymore. I hired a private investigator determined to uncover every secret she was hiding, and oh, did I find them. Photos, messages, bank records. Julie wasn't just cheating with one guy. She had a whole network of men spending our money on gifts, trips, even a joint account with one of them. She'd siphoned off a chunk of our savings, thinking I'd never notice. Armed with this, I went to my lawyer. He warned me the court might not care about infidelity, but I didn't care. This wasn't just about cheating. It was about her stealing from our marriage, financially and emotionally. I played it cool with Julie, acting defeated, sending polite texts, letting her think she was winning. She even called me mature for accepting help. It made my skin crawl, but I kept up the act. The final court hearing was my moment. Julie's lawyer spun this story about me being resistant to healing, painting her as the devoted wife fighting for our family. I sat there, barely hiding a smirk. When my lawyer stood up, he dropped the bomb. He presented everything, the photos, the messages, the bank transfers. The courtroom went silent. Julie's face turned white, her lawyer scrambling for a defense that didn't exist. My lawyer laid it out. This wasn't just infidelity. It was a violation of our marriage contract. Julie had used our money to fund her double life. The judge didn't hesitate. He granted the divorce, ordered Julie to repay the money she'd taken, and barred her from seeking any financial benefits from me ever again. Julie stared at me, desperate, maybe hoping I'd show mercy, but all I felt was cold, hard satisfaction. Justice, finally. I walked out of that courtroom with my head high, leaving her behind. In the months that followed, I started piecing my life back together. I got most of the money back, finalized the separation, and made sure Julie couldn't touch me again. I heard she got evicted, her lovers ditched her when the money ran dry, and she ended up crashing with distant relatives, drowning in debt. She tried reaching out, sending long pleading messages about starting over. I blocked her every time. No anger, no resentment, just certainty that this was the end she'd earned. I'm free now, free from the pain, the lies, the humiliation, free to rebuild my life on my terms. If you're watching this and you're stuck in a betrayal like I was, hear me, you deserve better. Don't let anyone convince you to stay in a cage of lies. Fight for your truth and don't look back.